Hey, what's up, you guys? So, I'm hanging out with Bentley, if you can hear him talking. He's chilling out in his chair, talking away. And so, I made a video earlier. Sorry, I just woke up from a nap. So, I made a video earlier about my pregnancy. I'm watching Law & Order. And so I wanted to make it 2 parts because I made the video and it was like 26 minutes long. So this is part 2, and this is my labor and delivery story. So I was due on June 5th and then I was due June 17th. So I ended up having labor pains at 11 o'clock at night on June 5th. And me and my boyfriend were out in our living room and we were watching Due Date, which is Zach Galifianakis and Robert Downey Jr. And RDJ's wife is having a baby, and she's supposed to be having a C-section, but her water breaks. She goes into natural labor, and so we're watching that, and the part where her water breaks and she goes into labor is the part that I actually had contractions. I got up and I put the dogs out and I started to have pain. So I ignored it. My boyfriend ignored it. He didn't even know. I mean, obviously you could tell that it was in pain, but he obviously just assumed that they were Braxton Hicks, like I did. So we ended up going to bed at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I woke up from pain at like 4:30 and ended up going to the bathroom because I had to go to the bathroom. And sat down. I sat down and I had some spotting, but in my pregnancy I had spotting a few times, and they said if I feel the baby move, I'm okay. Just to keep an eye on it. If it's not too dark, it's not a lot, it's not heavy, then I'm fine. So I came back in the room and back down, and I was waiting for the baby to move. And when I felt it move, I was like, alright, then I'm gonna just try and go back to sleep. So I'm laying there and I'm staring at the ceiling and I get in pain again. And I'm like, alright, so I try to time them to see if they're Braxton Hicks or not, because at this point I'm getting really annoyed and I'm in a lot of pain. So I was tired of just laying there doing nothing. But I couldn't figure out how to time them, so I was just laying there anyway. 2 hours later, around 6 o'clock, my boyfriend's alarm goes off for him to go to work. Or to get up to go to work. And I told him that I was in pain. I was having pain since 4 o'clock, or since the night before actually. But I've been up since 4, having pain, and like every few minutes, and so he told me to go wake up my mom, because we live with my parents, and to tell her that I'm having contractions. So I go upstairs, I wake her up, I tell her it's been a couple hours that I've been feeling them, they're every couple minutes. She told me to go get ready. She was going to get ready and we were going to go to the hospital. So I come back downstairs and I get back in bed with my boyfriend, and I tell him he has to go to work. He can't go with me. So I sent him to work, and while we're sitting there talking, I'm just bawling because I'm terrified of having a baby. I'm just like, I don't want to have him yet. No. Like, I'm so scared. I mean, obviously, I'm going to childbirth. I'm scared. But we end up going to the hospital. They tell me I'm 5 centimeters, so they admit me and they start me on Pitocin. Pitocin is like the thing that they use to induce labor to make things go faster. They told me that it wasn't moving along fast enough, so eventually my boyfriend gets there. For some reason, like, I was so insistent on him bringing my brush, like my hairbrush, and I never even used it the entire time I was in the hospital. But eventually we get to the point where I'm 10 centimeters dilated and it's time for me to push. So I start to push and my baby's heart rate starts to drop. He apparently was laying on his umbilical cord was compressed. It was underneath him and he couldn't breathe. And so eventually they had me stop, and I don't remember a lot of what happened, but they had me stop, and they ended up giving me oxygen. And so I had this oxygen mask on, and they told me to stop pushing, to stop doing what I was doing. And I don't remember this, but my boyfriend told me that if his heart rate hadn't come back up, I would have had to have an emergency C-section. And that obviously like scared the crap out of me. I mean, he told me this after I had the baby, so I was like, oh my god. But I didn't know what was actually going on, like what was wrong. I thought it was, for me, I didn't think, oh, there's something wrong with my baby. Like, I didn't think that at all. And so I ended up, pushing, and I had an episiotomy, which, because he couldn't breathe, they had to make the vaginal opening bigger, I guess, so they could just pull him out. And they did, just pull him out. But he was in distress, so they had to get him out as soon as possible. Plus, when you have a baby, they're not supposed to pass their first bowel movement until after they're born, and he had already done that in the sac in my stomach. So before he took his breath, they had to yank him out, and they had to get everything out. So they had to make sure that he wouldn't inhale it and have issues later on. But he did end up taking his first breath. So they just took him away from me. They're stitching me back up. And as soon as he is born, tears just flood out of my eyes. Everything that I was holding back, I just burst into tears. And my boyfriend's like holding my hand, he's squeezing my hand, like, you did so good, you did so good. My mom's going, oh, you did so good, you did so good. So they cleaned him up under the incubator, and they finally brought him back to me. And when they did bring him back to me, they laid him like right here. So like if I'm laying, like I was laying like this. They put him right here, and I never saw his face. Not once. They never showed me what he looked like. They never, and like they didn't hold him up for me to see him. They just took him away and put him back. So everybody else was like, oh, he's so cute, he's so adorable, look at the way he loves you. And I'm just like, I don't know what he looks like. I can't see his face. So they were trying to take pictures of him, but he had his face like buried, so you couldn't really see his face. I mean, I have pictures of him, and I didn't see his face for 3 hours after I had him, until it was time for me to feed him, was when I first saw his face. So, yeah. I actually never changed a diaper the entire time that I was in the hospital. They gave me some medication that made me super dizzy, and like I couldn't get out of bed because I felt sick. So I did have an epidural. So whenever I got the epidural from, I think that's the last time I was out of bed, was right before I got the epidural. When I got the epidural, you can't move because you're just numb. Right before I got that was the last time I was out of bed. So I didn't move out of bed until like 11:30, which was when they came in to do my shower. So they're like, oh, we're gonna help you get your shower. Come on, let's go. Are you ever out of bed? Blah. I'm like, no. So my best friend came, Alyssa, and her boyfriend Noah came down. And they were with my boyfriend in the room with the baby. My parents had left and went home. I'm getting a shower. I couldn't move. As soon as I stood up, I felt like I was going to pass out. I was so dizzy. And so my boyfriend actually had to help me get out of the shower because they had left me to get a shower and said if I needed any help that they would, to pull that little bell thing or push a button or something, and then they'd come back and help me. But they took so long that my boyfriend actually helped me get out of the shower. And I went right back to the bed. So during that night, the only time I held my baby was when he had to eat. Other than that, Chris would actually get up and he would go and change diapers. He'd bring him to me because I wasn't allowed to move. They wouldn't let me get out of bed to go over. I couldn't hold him if I was out of bed. I couldn't get up and walk around. So it was really bad because I couldn't do anything. And eventually we moved his bassinet between the couch and my bed. And so when Chris was asleep, I'd be able to just reach over and pick him up. And even that was really hard because one time he was crying and Chris wouldn't wake up to get him. So I got up and immediately felt like I was going to puke. I was so dizzy. And I just sat sideways, picked him up, and was holding him and loving him and trying to feed him. And he eventually stopped and went back to sleep. Then I had to go to the bathroom. I wasn't allowed to get up and go to the bathroom without somebody else. So I had to wake up Chris somehow and get him to help me to go to the bathroom. And eventually he did. So the next morning they took Bentley and he had a circumcision. And he wouldn't pee afterwards. So I had to stay another night, but I think it was because I was still really dizzy. Like, even for the next couple of days, I was really dizzy. But at least I was able to get up and walk around. And they said it was just to see if he'd pee. Like, they took him for ultrasounds to, check out his bladder. And his bladder was full. He just wasn't going, so. But that's my labor and delivery story. And this is actually shorter than my other video. I know it's super long. I knew it would be super long. But I didn't think people would want to sit and watch a 30-minute video on my pregnancy and my labor. So I just made this video. If you guys want to see any more, like I said, my Ask FM is always open. My Twitter, my Instagram, my Snapchat. It's always open if you guys want. It's in my bio. My names are in my bio. And my Ask FM and everything is on one of my other videos. I think my pregnant video, telling people I was pregnant. So if you guys like this, like the video. If not, tell me why. I mean, it's a personal event. It's something that actually happened. But subscribe, comment, leave me stuff. Let me know what all you guys want to see and hear me talk about. So yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Say bye, Bentley. Say bye. Say bye. You're talking this entire video and now you don't want to say nothing? Say bye. Look at the smile.